Hi guys, welcome to Brandix Reviews. Today I'm going to be getting into some East Coast, West Coast shit. As David Ayer put it, the director of the Suicide Squad film. There's been this picture that's been going around on social media recently, and it kind of ties in with, as I say, Marvel versus DC. Now, I'm not going to get into that actually itself, Marvel versus DC. I'm going to kind of have a bit of a rant about that argument. Now, events kicked off last week after Comic Con, after all the trailers that leaked and stuff. We had a situation where the DC Suicide Squad trailer that wasn't supposed to be leaked online. It was only supposed to be shown to the people at Comic Con. Unlike the Batman v Superman trailer, which was shown to the audience there and then went online. Suicide Squad was shown to them, wasn't given to anybody else. It was later, reluctantly. This picture's been kind of circulating, saying how Marvel treat trailer leaks differently to what Warner Brothers and DC do. In fact, let's look at the picture just so you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so the infographic pretty much shows for itself what it is. The joke they're kind of making here, that when a Marvel trailer leaks, this is how they deal with it. When a DC trailer leaks, this is how they deal with it. Now, there is kind of a bit of more of a joke to this than any kind of serious argument, but the actual backstory to it anyway. Marvel released their trailer back in October after it leaked, and instead of kind of acting pissed off about it, they kind of made a joke out of it and put "Damn it, Hydra," insinuating that the fictional sinister organisation Hydra had leaked their trailer. So it was great. It was, it got a lot of people respecting them for that. Gave them a bit of street cred, let's just put it that way. Whereas DC, similar thing happened, but not identical, and I'm going to get into that. When their DC trailer leaks, Warner Brothers kind of had a bit of a ramble, as you can see here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to pause this video and read it for yourself, do so. But they're basically going on about how upset they are that they think it had been leaked illegally and that they weren't going to, let that lie unless they had to, and that's what it's come to, so now they have to reluctantly release a trailer. So that's the picture anyway.
So there you go, that's pretty much what was going around, and I understand that it was kind of meant as a joke, but a lot of people have been taking it seriously and getting into serious debates based on that. That Marvel dealt with the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer leak back in October in a way differently to what DC and Warner Brothers have done with the Suicide Squad trailer when that leaked. But you can't really compare the two. I'm sorry, the scenarios are quite different. There's plenty of criticism to be levied against Warner Brothers and DC's cinematic universe, just in the way they deal with things. I am not in any way saying that this reflects the actual finished product, that any of the films are going to be better or worse for it. I mean, you can make that case, but I'm not going there in this. Just kind of get away from that a little bit, the actual trailer stuff. One example with Warner Brothers, and I've mentioned this many times before in other videos, that when they announced their lineup of films, their cinematic universe, back in October, I believe it was, they did it at a shareholders conference where it was just words on a page, basically. They just listed off the films they were going to do. It was something that was kind of done for business people, saying these are the films we're going to release. I think it might have been a few days later, I think it was a week after, Marvel did the same thing, essentially announcing their lineup, but they did it at an event that the press were invited to, that fans were invited to. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chadwick Boseman, Kevin Feige were all there on stage. It was a great event. And they announced their films. Now, that is another example of just the way kind of Marvel seem to be dealing with things better, just promoting them. But in this case, with this trailer thing, what it refers to, and I didn't go into the specifics here, but the Marvel situation was back in October last year when the first Avengers Age of Ultron trailer was getting shown online. You've got to remember that trailer was shown at Comic Con, and they didn't show that they didn't release it for months. So pretty much what DC were intending on doing. Now, their plan, Marvel's plan, was to premiere the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer on TV during an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which at the time was losing viewers. That was why, well, that's the reason I thought they were doing it, was to really kind of get people watching that show again. Show this highly anticipated Avengers Age of Ultron trailer during the show. People are going to have to watch this show to see it, or at least be exposed to the show. So, great marketing tactic. Nobody criticises them for doing that, do they? But what actually happened was, unfortunately for Marvel, fortunately for us fans, the trailer leaked quite a few, I think it was like 5 days prior to that happening, and it wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible quality. I saw it, as did a lot of other people for the first time in that leaked version. So what Marvel did was, instead of just kind of kicking off about it, as far as anyone saw anyway, they just released a trailer in high def. They just said, screw it, we won't wait until Tuesday to air this thing now, we'll just release it online in high def. And that's when they put the caption, "Damn it, Hydra." Like I say, it was a joke. It was kind of pretending that Hydra had leaked their trailer. So again, it was just something that they did that, like I say, got them a lot of street cred. So that was the way they dealt with that. And what they actually did do to kind of make up for it was they showed an extended cut of their trailer during Avengers Age of Ultron. Not during that. During Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that week. So they showed the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. but with some extra footage that you didn't see in the leaked version or the online trailer. It was the one where it showed the party where they're all trying to lift Thor's hammer. That was the extended bit that they put in there. So that was that scenario. So what we're comparing to with this picture is the DC situation with the Suicide Squad trailer. Well, the problem is with that, they showed that trailer at Comic Con. They didn't intend it to get out. They just figured, the larger public or whatever wasn't ready for it or whatever. Who am I to say whether that's the case or not? Their marketing department will have made that call based upon research that they have done, their business research, which may sound like I'm talking out of my arse here, but that is how they do things. That is how Marvel do things as well. That's how every studio does things. They release things at such a time to fit in with their marketing strategy. And their marketing strategy is going to be quite different to what Marvel and Disney's marketing strategy is for Avengers Age of Ultron. For starters, people, not just the comic book nerds and geeks, but the general film-going audience loved that first Avengers film. Everybody loved it. And we know exactly now at this point who the Avengers are. We want to see the sequel. Not just me, the geek, but the average film goer as well wants to see that film too. And they did. It came out back in April, last April. Suicide Squad, on the other hand, is going to be a tougher sell. I'm not saying it's going to be a tough sell. I'm sure it's going to do well. But at this moment in time, you say to most people, the Suicide Squad, even people that I know that are into all this stuff, still like, who are they? What's the film going to be about? So they have to have a very specific marketing strategy for this. I'm not saying it's going to work. I don't know. Again, that's the point I'm making. Who am I to say, oh, they should have just shown it like a year prior to the film coming out? It's still a trailer. It's still the same thing that's going to get seen. Well, they have techniques behind this, I'm sure. And I know I did say in my last video, they should just kind of release it, but kind of playing devil's advocate a bit here. For example, it might be that in their research may have shown that if they release the trailer a year prior to the film coming out, the general film-going audience is going to get sick of all the Suicide Squad trailers, all the talk about it, and by the time the films come out, they feel like they've seen the film already, so they just won't go see the film. Whereas if they release a film like our research shows, if we show it 5 months and 10 days prior to the film coming out, it will stick in the public's consciousness based on surveys, based on all this other test audiences and all that kind of stuff. That they have done that I haven't, so they can make that call. If they didn't want this trailer being shown at this moment in time, I don't think it was just because they were kind of being stubborn about it. I think they had an actual reason to do it. So who are we to question that, really? And to compare the Marvel versus DC situation where that trailer leaked and this trailer leaked isn't fair for. I just barely scratched the surface here. So I know it's meant as a joke, don't get me wrong, the picture is funny, I totally get that, I totally get the intention behind it, but beyond that, people are arguing this as if it's a valid point. And on some levels, maybe it is, but I'm just kind of throwing this out there. It's kind of my feelings on this. So take that into consideration. Don't write off DC and Warner Brothers for the way they've acted here. It is kind of amusing. It does seem kind of like they've had a bit of a paddy about it and thrown their toys out of the playpen with it. We can kind of see where they're coming from. Let's give them that anyway. So, and again, I don't think this is in any way going to reflect the quality of the film that comes out. Again, you can criticise DC for the way they've kind of marketed this, the way they've just kind of, like I said, just announcing their lineup of films at a shareholders thing. Then Marvel came along and just kind of this big event for the fans. Stuff like that, it doesn't. They don't do themselves any favours. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, there's plenty of points to be made for and against Marvel or DC or for the people making the argument in the first place. So I think I've kind of contributed to this a bit. So that's my rant anyway. I'm going to kind of leave it there. So we're going to be following this. We've done some reviews previously of the Suicide Squad trailer and the Batman v Superman trailer. So you can see these at Brand X Reviews. You can follow us on YouTube. There's some information coming up anyway, and you can follow us on social media. So for now, I'm going to leave it there. Check back for updates. I'm sure there's going to be plenty because Suicide Squad film's not even out for another year yet. So there you go. It feels like this film's out next month. So again, maybe that's what Warner Brothers didn't want people like me to feel. Anyway, so I'm going to shut up now. Thank you very much for watching. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.